All right, all. Thanks again for joining this morning. It looks like we have most everyone that has registered has joined so far this morning. So I do want to thank everyone for joining us. This is another time series webinar. We've been doing these now for about a year. And this latest one is really around the time series portfolio and specifically what we're doing with the Mendix platform as application delivery, as well as our own templates. We've been in this space now within the Siemens ecosystem for about a year and a half. So we're going to utilize this opportunity here to really get everyone up to speed again on sort of time series, and we help sort of bridge that knowledge gap around the Mendix platform within this ecosystem. So we do have a lot of experience in this space, and so we'd like to start by making Siemens and its customers aware of what we have and what we're able to help with. In essence, here to connect the dots. And I'd also like to take this time to let you all know that you're getting basically a sneak preview of all the new content that's going to be available in our brand new website, which goes live tomorrow. I'm really excited to share this globally within this marketplace. And I'd also like to take a moment to thank those responsible here on the time series side for their great work in this. It's definitely some great work for sure. Just some housekeeping items. So we are looking to host this for about an hour. This is being recorded, so it will be available for download later and will be shared with you all. And at the end of today's webinar, we will be having a live Q&A. So if you do have questions through this, please utilize the chat box available and then send those to the organizer. And we'll be able to share those questions with the entire group here again at the end. And I will say, please excuse any potential delays between slides. We are all doing this remotely on various continents. So please do excuse that ahead of time. So with that, let's get started and do a real quick round of introduction. So as your host today, I'm Matthew Seeger. I'm CEO of TimeSeries North America. Brief introduction for me. I've been within the Mendix ecosystem now for about 4 years. I was a previous founder in a data analytics and startup back in sort of the early 2010s, where I met the founders of TimeSeries in that business effort and joined them to expand their business practice and expertise around the Mendix platform within the US or North America marketplace at that time. Joining me today, I have two other of TimeSeries colleagues here, Sandra and Jethro. Sandra, can I ask you to do a brief introduction, please?
Yes, sure, Matthew. My name is Sandra Ramaker. I'm from the Netherlands. I've been at TimeSeries for 3 months, but I've been working at Mendix for the last 3 years. And the reason why I made a step towards a partner is that I can see the potential in what TimeSeries brings to market. So I'm very happy to join the TimeSeries group.
Thank you, Sandra. Right. And Jethro, you please.
Thanks, Sandra and Matt. Well, my name is Jethro Borsje. I'm from the Netherlands, actually. I'm the global CTO of TimeSeries. I've been with our company almost since the early beginning. Back when we started to work in IoT and big data, and then also in Mendix. I have a background in both economics and IT, and I'd like to bridge the gap between business and IT to make sure we can apply our innovative technologies on site at our customers.
Great, thank you all. Moving on to today's agenda. I won't go into this in any great detail. I'd like to utilize that time for the content. But as I mentioned, we will be covering the overall TimeSeries portfolio that we do bring to market. So moving on, TimeSeries and who we are. TimeSeries, we're a global leader in the fields of the Siemens Mendix low-code application platform, as well as big data analytics. AI, and the wonderful world of the Internet of Things. We are looking at now of having more than 250 accumulated years of Mendix experience. And quite frankly, I feel that we do have the best talent in this low-code app ecosystem. We are multiple winners within the Mendix Partner Awards, including most innovative solution in 2017, and repeated that again last year in 2019. And then we are also an official Siemens and Mendix partner, both on the reseller side and on the solution delivery side. And so very exciting things for us. Moving on, more about our organization and where we are. So we do have more than 130 employees within, sort of a couple of different practice areas, primarily around Mendix, and then of course our other expertise in big data, AI, and the like. And of those, more than 100 folks that are actually certified in that in the Mendix platform. So how we can get to that 250 years of experience. We have several offices across Europe and North America, and we are still growing. Our customer base. So if you look at our organization and where we've practiced over the years, we're looking at more than 300 customers across various verticals: oil and gas, energy utilities, manufacturing, life sciences, you sort of name it, we've been in that space. So we do have some, very specific industry knowledge that we can bring to bear on how we've implemented the Mendix platform within these various industry verticals. So moving on, we are going to get into an introduction from Jethro on the Mendix and the actual in the Siemens low-code platform therein. So Jethro, would you please?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. So some of you in the call may already be aware of low-code and Mendix, or have some experience with the tool, but we would just briefly brush over what low-code and actually Mendix is all about. So what we've seen at our customers is that there's a big gap between the business demands of today versus what IT can deliver. And this is mainly has to do with lack of enough skilled resources and ever fasting evolving technology stack. So nowadays, if you want to be a developer and build an application on a mobile device and also on a laptop, you need to be able to have all of these different skill sets, ranging from complex backend technology to front end to mobile devices, all those things. It's just very complex. It takes a long time to build these types of applications, but the business needs those apps faster and faster. And business also wants nowadays that there is this multi-channel or omni-channel user experience, so that customer journeys, they go from web to mobile to maybe even in offline context if you work in industry, for example, inside of drilling platforms and stuff like that. So the complexity and the business demands are increasing, and IT cannot keep up. So with Mendix and low-code development, what we do is we are looking at application development in a much more model-driven way. Instead of coding and making applications in a really complex manner, what we do is we try to model them out and make it really visual, which means we can develop much faster, and we can also make sure that IT and business understand each other much better. This also allows you to create applications quickly on many devices at the same time and deploy them to all of these many different clouds. Because we realize in the world of Siemens that many applications need to, for example, run inside factories. In the US, we have a few very cool examples of that, where we deploy Mendix on-site in production plants, where even if the connectivity with the internet would break down, these facilities would still be able to completely function standalone. So with Mendix, you can deploy your software everywhere in the cloud or on-premise and develop it in a really fast way. So if you look at one of the core features of Mendix, that's integration. And I would really like to stress that shortly, because it's not about only building apps really fast. It's also about unlocking information or data which resides traditionally in all of these different data silos. So for example, there's lots of data in CRM systems, there's lots of data in ERP systems, in PLM, sometimes in the custom-made legacy stuff. But all of this information really comes to life if you combine it with each other. And if you're able to build real-time views on top of these core systems of records, extend them, combine data, and create unified workflows across all of these backend systems. So with Mendix, we use actually Mendix, the tool, as a additional layer on top of these core backend systems. We're not in the business of phasing out or removing these core systems because they have a lot of value, but we are in the business of combining data from these different systems, creating unified workflows, and allow users to have an improved user interface experience and much more easy make sure the data in all of these backend systems is always up to date and it's relatable to each other. So this way, people who only work, for example, in your finance department, they might still work in SAP all day. But if you're a field service engineer, you might need to access inventory information from SAP while you are on site maintaining a wind farm, for example. And you want to combine this data maybe with some data from a Siemens system such as Teamcenter. Well, in those cases, Mendix is perfect because you can unlock the data from both of these systems, related to each other, and create unified advanced workflows across the systems. And I think that's one of the strong features where we see Mendix really shining and making a difference for our customers.
Hey, Jethro, real quick question here. You mentioned being able to integrate with other systems of record. What other advanced technologies have we brought to bear, maybe highlighting towards our templates?
So this is an integration. We can integrate all these core systems of records, but of course we can also integrate with, for example, IoT platforms like we've done in one of our predictive maintenance templates. But you can combine Mendix and bring much more, or use Mendix to bring much more advanced technologies come to life. For example, using machine learning and artificial intelligence to automatically plan an entire workforce. We have solutions for that where we can use Mendix to bring all of this information, all of this intelligence actually towards the end user. So of course, it's not only about getting data from transactional systems such as SAP or Teamcenter. It's also about using AI. It's also about 3D visualizations. You can unlock data from NX, for example, or CAD drawings in general. So it's broadly applicable for many different use cases.
Great, thank you, Jethro.
So if you look at what our customers are doing with Mendix, we generally see 4 categories, and I think this is important if you want to start using the tool, if you want to identify opportunities. So with low code, these are the 4 main areas where our customers are employing it. So the first one is obviously the innovative layer, right, where you really do things at high speed. So if you want to launch, for example, new products or services, or you want to test out new business models without investing too heavily in IT upfront, with Mendix you can in a really fast and agile way start to experiment and to see what are my new products or my new services going to do for our customers, and we can support this now with software which we can change on a daily or even on an hourly basis. One of our customers, a big manufacturer of elevators, and they are in the area of actually in progress of introducing a new business model to the market where you no longer buy an elevator, but you basically start to only pay for vertical transportation. You can imagine if you have a completely new business model, you need new ways of engaging your customers, showing them, for example, what we actually do there, real-time movements of all of the elevators you have in your portfolio as a big holder of many buildings. So there we could quickly build an application for them to start to test the waters and see what are our customers going to think of these new insights and of these new ways of engaging for elevators. So that's one area. Second area is customer engagement. Of course, if you want to build up a more intense relationship with your customers, so go for customer intimacy, you need cutting edge applications which can quickly adapt to changing circumstances in the market. And with Mendix you can do so, both in the B2B as well as in the B2C areas, by the way. So think about supplier portals or customer portals for example, machinery customers, but also B2C applications for big utilities companies. The third one is operational efficiency. Well, obviously, making your factory run smoother, making sure you do not lose, for example, stuff in your warehouse by integrating Mendix with hardware in the area, for example, of RFID and QR codes and barcode scanners. You can greatly increase the operational efficiency of your warehouses, for example, by integrating Mendix with all kinds of things in the physical world. And finally, an area not many people like to talk about because it feels a bit old or something, but there are still so many legacy systems out there. For example, Lotus Notes or whatever, there are so many things there. And often, as the other day I was at a customer and they said, well, we cannot innovate or change our business for the next 3 years because we're doing this major ERP implementation. And I told them, well, you can still start to innovate today with Mendix, and you connect Mendix through your legacy systems. Well, slowly you start to migrate your legacy systems into newer ones, and you can constantly adapt Mendix to this new reality you have in your core systems of records. So Mendix would be your way to innovate, do new things in the front end towards your customers, your suppliers, or in the back end, you slowly start to, for example, move away from a very old version of SAP to a new one, or to even a completely different ERP system. You can have these two worlds at the same time, because Mendix can integrate so well with all of these backend systems. You will just slowly adapt the integration layer in Mendix to your new world behind the scenes, or in the front end, you keep innovating and you show your customers all of your new things. There's also, I think, personally, a very interesting way of using low code to start innovating today, while you still have some housekeeping to do internally, but it doesn't have to hold you back. I think those are interesting cases or examples where you can use Mendix.
Excellent. Thank you, Jethro. And now we'll be moving on to a more detailed explanation of the TimeSeries portfolio, more specifically our expert services. So that is really our design and delivery around applications, the programs we can offer around things like governance. So organizing an enterprise towards the Mendix platform, our various solutions that we bring to bear with that, and how they're organized in these industry templates. So Sandra, can you tell the audience here today a bit more about what TimeSeries has to offer our customers as well as our partners?
Yeah, sure, Matt. I can explain a little bit more about our expert services and programs, but let me start with our services. We have a team with highly skilled and certified Mendix developers. So Mendix has 3 types of certification called Rapid, Advanced, and Expert. And of course, there are many more Mendix partners in the world, and they have also certified developers, but we have the most expert developers. So what does that mean for our customers? We are just able to service them at the deepest technical level in terms of the Mendix applications. So we have specialists in UI and UX, in architecture and performance assessment, and therefore we are able to deliver a full cycle service. So if you look at our UI and UX experts, they are engaged at the start of a cycle. They deliver workshop to the customers, so the customers have a visual overview in how the application would look like. What we see from our experience is that adoption rate of the first mockup is just to maximize the user adoption. And to be very clear, we don't need a UX or UI designer at every project. It depends if there is an interaction with external or internal customers. So goal for our UI and UX experts is to make a design sprint where we're able to align the expectations with our customers and partners, and but also between user groups, for example. Customers have workflows within an application that work both from a financial worker and from a field service perspective. So we take all these worker groups in account. Then we have our architects, and for them it's important that they create a future-proof landscape. So implementing a new technology can be very challenging because speed, flexibility, scalability, and security are key. And the goal for our architects is to make a long-term and sustainable landscape together with our customers, because we often see, like Jethro just mentioned, is that there is a need to implement a new ERP system. and our architects are able to create a roadmap to keep these important events in check. So the more you scale with the Mendix platform, the more you need to know if the platform is performing at its best. So therefore we have specialists who can test the platform on performance, but also on security to make sure that the security norms are still in order. GDPR, for example, is a big topic in Europe, and we're trying to help our customers to guide them if they have some questions around data integration or if storage security is a topic.
Thanks, Sandra. I do have a question here real quickly. The next topic here is really around premium support. What is the difference with the Mendix support?
So Mendix supports the platform, and TimeSeries is able to support the applications we've built, but also, if necessary, we can handle the platform support issues. So for some of our customers, they have business critical applications, and they have asked us, can you support us 24/7? And well, what you just mentioned is that we have offices in the US and in EMEA, so we're able to give that 24/7 support. So for example, if a customer has a Mendix application running in the Mendix cloud, normally we are not able to deliver that support because the customers have a Mendix license agreement, so they provide the support and the services. But if necessary, we can handle that issue for the customer if they have a premium support with TimeSeries. We have a no-nonsense support approach. You don't need support tickets or at the service desk. And what I just mentioned, premium support is also for if you have issues with your applications, widgets, or connectors we have built.
Excellent, thank you. So moving on to our programs.
Yeah. Okay, I will tell you something about the TimeSeries programs. I will start with the university program.
Hey, Sandra, before you get started here, can I interject one more time here? So, before you sort of get into the TimeSeries University program and some of the details that follow there, can you tell us more about sort of what makes the training courses that Mendix offers? So they're basically rapid developer or rapid certification program, and the difference between our programs in the same area.
We are a Mendix education partner, and that means that Mendix approved our trainers and our program. So what we see is that Mendix and Siemens has the need to scale up their developer community worldwide, and they have asked several partners to help them with that goal. The main reason that we started our university program, because we now discover that it's very difficult to hire good and well-skilled Mendix developers. So therefore, we decided to hire and to train the people ourselves. And most of the time, they're coming straight out of the university. But not only we train our own employees, we're also able to train our customers if there are need for their own excellence center, for example. But we are also able to train Siemens partners, because our goal with our university program is to create people from zero to a low-code hero. That's a joke my colleague Jeffrey always mentions. Because the risk you have with developing within Mendix is you can develop applications, for example, 10 times faster the good way, but you can also create applications 10 times faster the bad way. So to make sure that we minimize that risk, we have created our own program. So what we do is we start with a pre-assessment. Does the customer or partner have the right people who are able or suitable to become a Mendix developer? Do they have a certain degree? Are they able to think logical? Do they have the ability to communicate properly? These are just basic requirements. And if they don't have the people with that basic skill set, then we're also able to help to recruit those people. And of course, it's good to start with a free online training on the Mendix website. But it's more than just clicking towards a working application. Communication around the process is so very important. So we learn the trainees to ask the right questions to the business users. And all of the trainees get a dedicated mentor during their entire training. So if they have any questions or challenges, they can ask it on the spot and they can move quickly forward. For the rapid developer, we offer. Okay, thank you. For the rapid developer, we offer a full and a fast track. Both tracks can take them up into the advanced developer certification. A full track is for trainees who have zero knowledge about coding or development. This track will take 8 weeks. The fast track is for people who do have some experience, and that track will take 4 weeks. After one of these tracks, you have a developer who is able to build independently an application. And after some months of practical experience, they can successfully pass the advanced developer certification exam. And the best way to start is just to have an initiative with low code. That can be a new initiative, or that can perhaps be a replacement application. But that's our advice.
Now we have the TimeSeries Innovation Center. Sandra?
Yeah. Can you go to the next slide, Matt? Yeah, thank you. So we often talk to customers who have great ideas but have no clue in how to productize these ideas. So therefore we have our innovation team, and they are able to capture these ideas and make it into a working product. And for example, I want to mention a customer in Rotterdam, KRVE. They are a company in the Rotterdam harbor, and their task is to moor the incoming vessels on the docks. So in 2011, during a storm, an oil tanker hit the dock and a vessel got a hole in it. So a lot of oil was spilled into the harbor, and the reason was that the mooring line snapped under tension and the tanker could break away. So KRVE came up with a solution called short tension, and these machines are able to automatically moor the lines of the vessels onto the docks during a storm. But capturing and aggregating the data from those short tension and publishing that data for the user was a big challenge for them. So our innovation team helped to create a clear process and put the outputs from the data into a working application. So now, if it will happen, there is a storm, the captain of the vessel can see what is happening with the ship, and if he needs to, he can take some action. So what we see with great ideas is they always should be tested on either do we save costs or do we increase revenue. So with our expertise in value engineering, we're able to calculate upfront if this is the case. So our CTO, Jethro, he wrote a blog on TCO, total cost of ownership. After this recording, I will ask Miranda, our marketing lady, if she can send the link of the blog. And he wrote a blog on the TCO of the Mendix platform. And of course, we have some industry solution, which Jethro will tell you a bit more about that. But we are also able to pre-calculate the financial benefits from our industry solutions. So the goal for our innovation team is not only bring innovation, but always make sure that we have a clear benefit in ROI. Next slide, please. So yeah, this brings us tying this up all together. We're at a smart app factory. Very short, this is a programmatic approach in adopting the Mendix platform. So our goal as TimeSeries is to have a long-term relationship with our customers and our partners, and we can only do this if we are the trusted advisor. Of course, we start with one application, and then you can see what the power is of low-code and experience of the financial benefits. But if you want to adopt a low-code as a strategic capability for your company, you need a plan in which you can experience the full value of the Mendix platform. So all of these topics I just discussed are able to help you create a long-term vision, make a plan, and are able to execute.
Great, thank you, Sandra. And with that, I'd like to bring it back to Jethro to talk about our solutions.
Yes, thanks, Matt. So actually, it's important to understand what I will be about to explain is basically can be divided up in two different things. One is the solutions, the things you see right now, which are big chunks of functionality, building blocks, which you can use in different ways inside your Mendix application. Besides that, we also have complete working industry templates, which are much more geared towards fully functioning, almost SaaS-like applications, fairly prescriptive, which you can do and then adapt to a certain degree to work for your specific company. So those are much more feature complete. These are more reusable building blocks. So we can go through all of them. So let's start with the Mendix accelerators. If you go to the next slide, you'll see it. And then we go one by one. So Mendix accelerators, this is all about, as you see in the infographic, fairly smaller bits and pieces of things which can accelerate your Mendix projects further. What we see at our customers in practice very often is that every time they want to have, for example, a QR code scanner, or they want to have a specific integration with an RFID reader on a native device, or they want to have a specific widget or graph. So all of these smaller bits and pieces which fit in somewhere in your application, we don't want to build them every time. So what we've been doing is we've been harvesting all of these reusable components. We call them accelerators, and our customers can use them and buy them from us to speed up their application development, while at the same time they can make sure that these pieces of functionality they work out of the box, so they don't have to care about the quality or the way how to set it up. All of that's taken care of, and this allows them to really reuse what's already out there in the community and what we've been spending years on building. Now, secondly is search. What we see often is customers start to build one application, then two, then three, and then now we have customers, big enterprise application landscapes, tens or hundreds even of applications. So imagine if you only have like a dozen apps. Before you know it, you want to search for something which is in app number 1, well, you are in app number 2. And then quickly you don't really know for sure how to actually spell it, and you want to have like this fuzzy search like Google does, right? So what we've built is we've built a search solution which taps into all of these Mendix applications, and then based on that you can go in full search mode across all your apps at the same time in parallel with fuzzy searching, which allows you to quickly find what you're looking for no matter where it is. So I think this is a really nice way to quickly unlock data inside of all of your different Mendix apps, because otherwise things tend to get lost, and that's of course a waste. So another requirement we often see is audit trailing, especially in our customers, for example, in the utilities industry or in medical devices, where compliance and regulations are very important. Then it's crucial to keep track of which users modified which records or which data points. So we know that we can always go back, or we can always say later on for compliance reasons, this particular person changed this particular field at that moment in time. So we keep track of all of those changes people are doing in Mendix behind the scenes, and we ship them out to an external system where we can keep track of all of this stuff, and where Mendix can then tap into to view all of the history of all of the data which is in Mendix. But the data is stored externally, so we can make sure that even if a user would wipe out the entire Mendix database, your entire audit trail is still safe. And this is a really important case for some of our customers in the more heavily regulated markets. Another thing is where we actually come from, our IoT platform. This is a fairly big data focused, open source based platform that runs in any cloud. And some of our customers, like the guys from the KRVA, which Sandra just mentioned, they use this platform to keep track of all of the data from their physical assets. And then we put Mendix on top to visualize dashboards, to create workflows and stuff like that. While the IoT related data is stored and analyzed in our own IoT platform. And this allows you to analyze vast amount of data and use Mendix to only show the results of this, the outcome. So there you would focus on the business flows, while the IoT platform does the heavy lifting in terms of data, machine learning, and analytics. And I think this is the last high-level solution. We've been using AI actually for quite some time now to create a planning engine which is capable of solving in general resource constraint puzzles. So everything where you have a scarce or limited set of resources and a certain amount of tasks which need to be done, and a bunch of business rules in between which determine what would be an ideal outcome. This is a very complex abstract puzzle. With AI, we can solve this puzzle, and we can use this, for example, to automatically assign all of these tasks to field service engineers, or to automatically create rosters for all your employees if you're working in a hospital. So everywhere where these scarce resources and tasks play a role, we use AI to automatically create these schematics or these rosters for you. Now, all of these solutions have been built by our dedicated innovation team, which is built up of all of these machine learning and AI experts, big data experts, and they are building continuously these type of solutions, which we then put into our Mendix projects, and then we use them there. And what we did is we've been building industry templates where we leverage all of this. There's a very good reason for us to do so, because what you will see when you start to work with Mendix or try to sell Mendix or want to embed it in your company, that essentially Mendix is like the Nintendo console. It's a thing which is fairly abstract, and nobody buys the Nintendo console, the game console, to put it in your house just to look at it. You buy it to use it, and what you build with it, or what you do with it actually, is you play the games, right? So you don't buy the console for the console, you buy the console to play the games. So this is the same with Mendix actually. You don't buy Mendix because you like low code, you buy Mendix because you want to build applications with the tool. So instead of only talking to you guys or to customers about Mendix as a tool, which is, again, it's very important, but we also like to talk to customers about concrete applications which can help them in their specific industry or in their specific domain. And that's what we have done by creating these templates. So what you see here is instead of going to companies in these industries and talk about the console, talk about Mendix, the low-code platform, we go there, of course, we talk about Mendix, we explain what it is and why we believe in low code, but we do this in the context of their respective industries or domains by talking about the games, talking about the applications you can build with the tool. So what you see here is our 4 main focus industries: manufacturing, which we realize is very broad, life sciences, energy, utilities, which we originate from or come from, and marine, with which we have a track record both in the Netherlands as well as in Germany. And of course, we also have a cross-industry set of industry templates. And inside all of these industries, we have templates which solve particular business problems. And if you go to the next slides, what you'll see as an example is a set of templates which we call cross-industry, so which apply to many different customers at the same time. And what it is actually it's a Mendix application. You can buy it from us. You get access to it, and not only to the application to log into, you can also get access, of course, to the underlying Mendix models, and you can use it and you can adapt it to your specific business need. So, for example, right here, if you look at employee shift rostering, for example, that's a combination of our planning engine, our generic backend solution, combined with a Mendix app. And the Mendix application contains the employees, the shifts, the rotations, all the planning widgets and all of that stuff. And combined, this is the application which a customer can buy from us as a template. And then we customize it the last mile. We customize specifically for them with Mendix, and then they would use it. So this is just an example of what we do. We have many of these where we leverage Mendix to build a certain coherent set of business functionalities focused to solve a specific business problem. And this way, it's much easier to explain Mendix to a customer than just talk fairly generically about low code. We just show them this is what we build with low code for your specific need. This is why we believe in these templates. And of course, also this is a great accelerator because you don't have to think about all of these concepts every time and again from the start. No, we reuse all of this, which has already been proven at many customers before. So what you will see now is that we have these templates for every industry. For example, for manufacturing, there's lots to do in the area of IoT. For example, remote monitoring, the elevator case I've just told you. Companies who are manufacturing machines, such as elevators or the short tension guys from KVA. What we do is we connect to their assets with our IoT platform. We get the data from the physical world to the digital world. And on top of that, we have Mendix applications which remotely monitor what's going on with these physical assets. Of course, this can be extended with predictive maintenance after that if you have enough data. So life sciences, we have some stuff there as well. Of course, here we are talking about heavily regulated market. So a good example is the UDI submission management app we've been building with our team in the US, where we connect actually Teamcenter with an API or a service from the FDA to submit the UDIs or to handle the UDI submission process. Actually, and Mendix is in between, extracting data from Teamcenter, sending it back, and connecting to the FDA website to do all the submissions, to automate this process and make sure these med device manufacturers are compliant. In the energy world, well, we have many templates because this is actually where we founded the company, where we started. One of the most interesting things, at least in Europe, is there's lots to do about smart meters. For example, in the Netherlands, millions of smart meters are being installed in houses, and this means we can connect to them and then we can give real-time insights in how the energy consumption in buildings or also even in households is going. And based on that, we can give people proactive advice on how they, for example, can save power and earn money like that. And we connect our IoT platform there to these meters and then use Mendix to create all of these insights and build B2C applications, for example. And finally, marine. This is an industry we've been starting to target since 1.5 years ago. One of the applications we've built here is inclination test preparation. Well, without going into the details, because then you would need to understand how ships are built. But in general, many of the processes, of course, take place during the construction phase of a ship inside the ship on the yard. And there often is bad, if at all, there's hardly never a connectivity. Because well, you are inside this big metal shell basically, and in the shell there is no connectivity. So you still need to do lots of administrative tasks, but on board. These are often done on pen and paper or with Excel on a tablet, but it's not connected to the outside world. So what we've done is we've built a set of applications which work offline on tablet devices, facilitating these processes which you do on board. For example, preparing for an inclination test. We sync all the data from the cloud to offline tablets. The users will do their work while they are on board the ship, and when they get back to the office, they sync data back to the cloud. And there we have cases which extremely work well in reducing administrative burdens, which allows people to spend much more time doing actual engineering or construction and not spending time just writing things on paper and then typing them over in Excel at the end of the day. We also here use RFID track and trace hardware equipment to track what's going on in the shipyard, to make sure stock is in the right place, to make sure that we always know where things are, what the latest status is, and things like that. So here it's much about bridging the gap between the physical and the digital world and making all of this available back again offline.
All right, thank you, Jethro.
That's it, right, for this part.
That is. Thanks a lot. That was a lot of great information. So now we are able to move into the Q&A phase of this, and we have received a couple of questions. The first question we have received here is, can I use, and Jethro, I think this is probably going to go to you, can I use your solutions in my already existing Mendix app? For example, if I want to extend my app with your IoT platform.
Yes, that's a good question. Our solutions, even the small accelerators like a specific graph or QR code scanner widget, but also the entire IoT platform or the planning engine, all of them, they're of course all leveraged in what we call industry templates, like we've just talked about. We of course leverage them ourselves on site as many customers, but they can also be used by you. So what you can do is you can connect to these solutions using APIs, which you get from us, and then you can leverage them yourself. We can help you of course, to set it up, but then you can use it yourself further on from there. So yes, that can be done.
Excellent. Thank you, Jethro. The next question here, maybe Sandra, you can take this one. And I think this speaks to our partner-to-partner program, which we've rolled out earlier this year as part of the Siemens partner-to-partner program itself. So as a Siemens partner, are there options to join forces? Sandra, can you discuss our partner-to-partner program?
Yeah, sure. Because what we see is that there's enormous potential, and Siemens and Mendix want to scale up worldwide. What we see is a lot of partners, for example, in the UK, who have certain domain knowledge, customer base, and they have ideas on how to help their customers a little bit better. So with their knowledge, domain knowledge, customer base, and with our knowledge from the Mendix side in how to create a template solution or accelerators, we can help with that to co-create a industry solution, to co-market them, to co-sell them, because we're able to train their developers if necessary. And create together some great solutions. So yeah, we can work on that together, because for the partner, the benefits is that they can create a new line of business. You can help your customer a little bit better to make them future-proof for in terms of digitalization. So the partners has the benefit, the customers have the benefit, and we have the benefit. So if you have any questions around partnership or partner program, please reach out to me.
Excellent. Thank you, Sandra. Next question for you, Jethro. Does Mendix have its own database?
Yes, good question. Yes, Mendix does have its own database. How it works is if you buy the Mendix platform, you get a runtime engine which runs in the cloud. That's where all your business logic resides. That's where the UI comes from. And that server connects to the database, and under the hood, typically is a Postgres database, but it can also be other relational databases. And this is all automatically deployed and maintained for you by the Mendix deployment toolset. So you don't have to bother with all of this yourself. It's completely out of the box, organized by Mendix. So it also takes out a lot of the operational work you would typically have with traditional coding.
Excellent. And Jethro, I think this is the next a good one for you. I know we've discussed Teamcenter and some of the other existing Siemens solution set, but one we haven't discussed is MindSphere. So this question revolves around that. And it's, if I have my data in MindSphere, will we need a special API to integrate with Mendix? And then, of course, the TimeSeries templates too.
That's a good, yeah, that's interesting. How it works there is the integration between Mendix and MindSphere is actually pretty good. We are also a MindSphere partner, by the way. So besides our own IoT platform, we also deliver services using MindSphere. Actually, we just finished the case in Germany with that. But Mendix has an out-of-the-box connector to MindSphere. You can just go to the Mendix App Store, drag it into your application, and then you configure your credentials and stuff like that, and then you can do API calls directly to MindSphere. And it also comes with out-of-the-box widgets, like all kinds of graphs, which are then populated with MindSphere data. So there are very deep integrations from Mendix into MindSphere, which is why we are so pleased, of course, Siemens is investing so much in Mendix. Regarding the TimeSeries templates, we are in the process of making sure that our templates can integrate both with our own IoT platform as well as with MindSphere through these APIs. So that will be that's one of our investments we're currently making, and it will become available in the future. But integrating Mendix in general with MindSphere is it's very easy to do. And if you have additional questions, you can contact me. I can help you out with that stuff.
Thanks, Jethro. And here's a question I'd like to steer towards you, Sandra. And it really discusses sort of like enterprise scale. right? And the use of the Mendix platform. So the question here is Mendix only for enterprise customers, or can a small manufacturer with about 10 people also use Mendix?
Yeah, you can use it both. It depends on the case where it's for. If it's for a typical industry solution, we're perfectly able to help you with that. But bear in mind, if you want to have the full potential of the Mendix platform, we always advise start with a small application and see how it works. And when it works right, we can look if there are more initiatives. So yeah, you can do both. You can either use one solution, or you can have a solution plus you can experience what the platform in a whole can do for you as a company.
Thank you. And got another question here. So where can I go to understand what apps or widgets are available today? Maybe I could take that one to give you, Sandra, and Jethro a little bit of a break here. As I mentioned earlier, our new website will be going live tomorrow. So please feel free to visit timeseries.com, and within there you'll be able to see greater detail around our solutions and templates that we do offer, as well as the industry specific templates there too. Another question, and Jethro, maybe you can get to this, maybe provide a little more detail around sort of the structure of our templates themselves. The question is it, it seems like it only makes reference of UI, so maybe you can get a little more detailed information there.
Yeah, sure. So the templates, well, if we double back one step, often people start to think as Mendix as like, yeah, you can create nice front ends with it and that's it. But it goes much deeper than that. So our templates, what they do is they encapsulate a complete set of business features. That includes the domain models. So however your database is structured, however you think in terms of data, that's one. Secondly, it contains all these business rules, workflows to make sure you can run your application and it works in a proper way. And finally, it contains all the user interface components, both web as well as mobile. So if you look at, for example, our roster plan application, where, for example, in healthcare, we use this a lot to make sure hospitals can plan all of their nurses, for example. The application contains the concept of a nurse and of a department and of a certain set of skills people must have. And every customer configures their own skills and their own departments, of course. But the concepts are in the Mendix database, so that's all in the template as well. But it also contains all kinds of business rules, such as an employee needs to have at least one skill, or it needs to have contracts, and contracts need to have a maximum minimum amount of time and hours and cost, and then there's a start and an end date, and all of these validations around all of that. So all of that is in the template, and then the template connects, in this particular example, to our planning engine. Our planning engine runs outside of Mendix in our cloud or in the customer's cloud, and that's where all the heavy lifting in terms of algorithms is done. Because I saw somebody else asking a question about, which I'd like to take right away also here, is can you also do high computations and complex permutations in Mendix? Yes, you can, but if it's really complex, you need to, for example, use AI. We take that out of Mendix, put that somewhere else, basically much more for reasons of high-speed computations and complex algorithms where you want to scale up CPUs, for example. We take that out, and the template in this particular case, but it contains all the database, the business rules, and all of the UI components and the mobile apps. And then in this particular rostering case, the AI stuff is taken out, runs in the cloud, and there's just integration layer in between. And our templates also contain integration layers in the form of connectors. So if a customer for ours says, well, I want to use my own Mendix app, not your template, but I want to leverage your planning engine, or I want to leverage your IoT platform, and we can give them the IoT platform. We run it in the cloud for them. And they also get a Mendix connector, which out of the box connects to the APIs, just like how you could connect with a MindSphere connector from Mendix to MindSphere. We have the same for our own backend stuff as well. And we often see there that the template contains database flows and user interface, and very complex or high intensive computations are done elsewhere.
Excellent. Thank you, Jethro. I really appreciate that. We have another question here around our templates. And whether or not we have some around the regulated environmental services arena. I think I could take that one. I will say that these types of applications are on our roadmap. Most recently, we've been working in the commercial construction space. And within that, we've been focused on applications within the health and safety part of that business line. And as part of that, I guess, solution set that we've been working on, actually digitizing the stormwater pollution prevention plan system is what we've been working on most specifically. So basically taking the the hard copy 3-ringed binder that's been sitting on job sites and actually digitizing that and making it also mobile available. So as job site foremen are able to go around their daily inspections, they're actually able to snap those photos, everything stored into the Mendix application. And then it's most easily accessible then by regulators and others within the organization that need to report on health and safety and those types of things within the company itself, but also externally with the regulators. So, like I said, those are all types of templates that we are identifying as part of our overall roadmap. As we are coming close to the top of the hour, I do want to thank everyone again for all of your questions. I think some of these have been great, and hopefully we've been able to provide additional clarity. Of course, if there are any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to us and we'll answer them directly. I do want to take a moment here to advertise a couple of our new webinars that we have coming up. So please look for this in our advertisements as well. So we have one coming up on September 29th, and this is featuring Siemens low code and really specifically around the UDI for the medical device. So earlier, Jethro talked about that template itself. So you can learn more about how that application automates the manual medical device regulations with the FDA. And then on October 15th, it is our migrating from Mendix Cloud version 3 to version 4. So basically, Mendix is deprecating the cloud v3. So I'll learn more about what it's going to take to make that migration successful. And I'd also like to thank my colleagues here today, Sandra and Jethro, for participating, providing such excellent information, and of course to all of our attendees. Thank you all for your time today, and look forward to seeing you all join us in our webinars coming up. And hope you all have a great rest of your days. Thank you.